Okay, continuing with the last page of our Martin Luther King, I Have a Dream speech. We are on page 264. We're going to start on paragraph 23. On paragraph 23, it says, I have a dream today. So this is continued repetition. He started saying that on the previous page. So continued repetition. And then he says it again. So after I have a dream, I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted and every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain and the crooked places will be made straight. So there is imagery in that. I'm grabbing my highlighter here. Oops. There's imagery in all of this. He is painting a picture for you, not just of what this would look like. I'm going to pause it there. But he is saying this to add to his tone. This imagery is adding to his tone of hope and optimism. Okay, and let's continue. The glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope, and this is the faith that I go back to the South with. I noticed this word faith. I'm going to come back to that one. With this faith, so already there's our repetition. With this faith, we will be able to hew out the mountains of despair a stone of hope. So again, we notice despair is the negative and the hope is the positive. Now we've been noticing a lot of negative and positive in Martin Luther King's speech. This is called antithesis. So you've probably marked the positive and the negative several times. Every time you did, you were actually noticing antithesis. The negative, the despair, the positive of hope. With this faith, there's that repetitive word again, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation, oh, there's some negative, into the beautiful symphony, that's the positive, of brotherhood. And because I remember this word brotherhood has been said already, I'm just gonna make that more repetition right there. With this faith, there's that word again. And you notice with this faith, with this faith, with this faith, he continues to start sentences that way. Just so we know that that is an anaphora where you start over and over with the same start to your sentence. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. Now, something else that I notice is that he says we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together. All of that is a thing called parallel structure. How is it parallel structure? Because he is saying we will be able to do this, to work together, to pray together. He keeps going with all the things we can do together. Okay? All right. Paragraph 27. And this will be the day when all of God's children will be able to sing with new meaning. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring. And then paragraph 28, and if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. And so let freedom ring from the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire. And so I'm noticing the start of some repetition. He says, let freedom ring. Down here he says, let freedom ring. From the mighty mountains of New York, let freedom ring from the heightening Alleghanies of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let freedom ring from the curvaceous slopes of California. Not only that, let freedom ring from the Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from the Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. Look at all of that repetition. Let freedom ring, 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 let freedom ring. It continues to go over and over. Why is he using this repetition? Obviously, he is wanting to emphasize, S-I-Z-E, his point. He wants freedom everywhere. He gives all these places because he wants that freedom everywhere. He also adds some descriptive words in there. Mighty mountains, great nation, prodigious hilltops, heightening Alleghenies, snow-capped, curvaceous, stone. Why is he doing this? He's adding this bit of imagery in there. That imagery is making what he's saying memorable. He's also, again, emphasizing what he wants us to know, and he's using this as a way to show us what he wants. He's showing us what he wants. I also noticed once that by using New York, Alleghenies, Colorado, California, Georgia, Tennessee, Mississippi, by pointing that out, he is speaking to everyone. He wants this freedom and equality for everyone, everywhere. He's not just talking about people in his hometown or his close group of friends. He is recognizing that this is a problem everywhere, and we should all unite so that we all, in all of these places, feel this. All right, let's continue. I'm down here on paragraph, let's see, 39. And when this happens, when we allow freedom to ring, well, there we go again, freedom to ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestant and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual. Free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last. Well, there's some things going on in here. You could notice that there's some, I'm just going to abbreviate it for our time purposes. There's imagery in there. You go back in there and find that imagery. And then I also notice that he repeats, he's talking about it being a Negro spiritual song, but it repeats free at last 3 times. There is a reason that he chose that to be what is repeated, right? So there is your repetition. He is ending his entire speech on the National Mall with repetition of exactly what he wants. What makes his speech powerful? He gave the imagery of what it looks like to have what he wants, and then he repeated over and over, freedom. That's what he wants. All right, you are now going to pull out your summarizing paper and go to part 4, top of page 264.